stranger in the mirror. Coming down the road, Camp Cutlet. Dino's got to be pulling in, or he's there, or he's just pulling in, or he pulled in a little bit ago, or he's... We're about to see, about to find out about the who. He is not here yet, and that's okay. He said he was just pulling through Sherman. He's also late for just about everything. Ladies and gents, welcome to another episode of Food Plot Chronicles. We got Dave in town and up at camp for a couple of quick days, and we got a lot of work to do. So the first thing we're gonna do, we're jumping in the side-by-side, gonna do a few laps around the property, kind of assess everything, come up with a game plan. We got 6 food plots to put in 2 days. Got our work cut out for us. We got the equipment on the Mahindras hooked up, ready to rock. The Rocky boots are strapped. So without further ado, let's get turning some dirt and head on over to food plot number 1. That tractor's hooked up. This Mahindra's already hooked up. So we good to go. Woo! Food plot chronies, baby. Got this first plot mapped out on Onyx Maps. I can't tell you how big this tool is. You just click on that shape that I got right there. Look at that, 0.8 acres. Tells you exactly to the decimal point how big it is. That way I know how much fertilizer to put down, and this is a tough year, everything's expensive. Turnips, if you don't take soil tests, you really want to put down about 400 pounds of triple 19 per acre, maybe triple 17 maybe, but if you want them to grow good, you just got to give them the food. This was a cornfield that we found out we put some bad seed in here, so half of it didn't grow. It gets beat up by the deer, groundhogs, and everything. Looked like it was going to be a wash, but we came in here this week, and there's actually a decent amount of corn in here, enough to, you know, if we cob up on all of these, it'll be a decent amount of food. And I sprayed this probably 3 weeks ago, so all the dirt is like, it almost looks like it's tilled underneath the corn. So we're going to leave the corn, and we're going to broadcast turnips, brassicas right in the middle of it. I don't know, it could be really, really beneficial to have all this corn in here for late season. Our screenage that we grew was a failure, so having the cover in this field is going to allow us to be able to get into this blind if deer are in here feeding and get in there undetected. So interested to see how this works out. It's kind of cool though. We've never had corn in this field ever. And we're just going to load it up with turnips and radishes and all that good late season forage, and we're going to see what happens. This is all going to be turnips. I don't know, probably about a half acre, maybe a little bit more. Plot number 2, we're going to go with a little last stand. It's just a similar brassica blend, it just doesn't have radishes in it. That's what that blend. All right, we're tag teaming plots today. So we got a disc, rototiller on the small tractor, and we're knocking them out. This is about a half an acre, maybe a little bit more. Got a little bit of grass in it, but it's okay. We're gonna knock it down with a disc, chop it all up. It's gonna be ready to roll here in about an hour or less. Had a tree down, Dave just moved it. This plot is always very tough to grow turnips in because it stays wet. Turnips, brassica, those type of mixes, seed mixes, do not like moist. They like moist soil to germinate, but they don't like soil that stays wet. They like dry, they just like dry soil. Anything we've learned over the past 8 years, they grow better in dry soil. We haven't put turnips in here in the last 3 years because it stays wet, but if there's a year to try it, this is it. Hopefully this plot stays relatively dry and the turnips should grow very, very good. If that's the case, this will be a very, very effective plot this hunting season. The pin in, got a locker in place. Stuff's starting to fall out. Like, Mom! It's on the box. Here, throw me up, man. Throw me up. I got this spot right here. You know what? I just realized why they came up with the term redneck. Look at this bad boy. That thing look like cherries or what? And there he is, the man himself. This guy really knows how to spread that seed. Spread that seed. What is that, number 3? Number 3, 3 to go. 3 to go. Nothing really crazy to say. I'm just gonna move the earth in this plot. Kill it. Here, man, that's for me. Oh! That's what he said. There's only we have so much seeds. That means really and truly just seriously fun. We got so much of this seed. Yeah. Took a little while to break this down, but I feel like we got it to a good point. There was just so much damn grass in here, and that was our fault, you know, just a little bit behind on spraying it, let it get a little bit too high, and you'll always be chasing something if you get behind in any of this stuff. So just when them weeds get so high, even when they start to die off, number one, it takes them a lot longer. Number two, even when they're dead, it makes that first turn even harder. So I mean, in a perfect world, we would till this one more time and then plant it. But one of the things, you don't want to let this sit like this for very long, because then you're going to be fighting weed control. You can't spray the turnips with glyphosate or a Roundup or anything like that. So you want to get the seed in the ground as soon as possible so that it can start going, because as we turn this dirt, new seeds are coming to the surface. Whether it's grasses, clover, weeds, it doesn't matter, but anything that tries to grow in here is going to be competing with what we're trying to grow in here. So it's all a science project, but it looks a hell of a lot better than it did, I'll tell you that much. Does it even make you sad to know that was 7 summers ago? You know, the perks of being the camp manager is you get to send Dave on the old, out in the elements. And while it's 90 degrees, I get to sit in the cab in the AC and listen to some Morgan Walker. All right, the final, well, at least for the weekend, final food plot. This is number 6. We did good. We got all 6 in. David is just knocking down some sod here on this last food plot. I'm gonna run through and fertilize, and we're gonna plant. Here's the plot. It's basically, this will be turnips, radishes, brassica mix, and it's basically a tree plot. We got walnuts, apples, we got white oaks, we got a bunch of different oak trees. You can see they're not producing yet. We got one producing oak tree there, but a lot of apple trees. A lot of apple trees, and in the midst of it we're going to put clover and turnips. And the trees are getting a little bit big, so this plot is shrinking from a ground crop standpoint, but we're going to turn this all up, and it's a great little transition spot, the back corner of this big green field, and you know, it's a good staging spot for deer to go out and feed. We got a nice creek running through the whole back side of it. They have everything they need right here, bedding area. So as you can still, a lot of green in here still. That's a lot of it's clover. It just, you can spray that pretty hard usually with Roundup in it. Doesn't like to kill it. Well, see what this looks like in about 45 minutes. The final showdown. I'm gonna go this way. That's it.
That ought to do it.
6 plots. 6 plots, 2 days. We're in. No more planting it. Well, maybe a couple small. Yeah, I mean, I'll do a couple spots in turnips and stuff, but really no more plots. No. It's a good feeling. It's good. It's a good feeling. Get through the first layer, you'll be good. Oh my God. Look at this fucking thing. I'm normally the breaks everything, but Dean freaking did a number on this fucking thing. That thing is so buried. It's buried. Too. And that tank is not helping anything. Hell no. Oh yeah, that full tank is not helping. All I can say is, I'm glad it wasn't me. We thought we could cross the creek, so we cleared a huge trail in here earlier. But she's a little mucky. You probably shouldn't even try and start it. Is it in neutral? I don't know. But we're gonna need this power of that unit to get this out of here. You're probably right. I gotta get this for the gram. That was a full send right there. Yeah. And it was that was full on send. Just created an ornament for the woods. Yeah, we might have. She might not be coming out. Folks, if there's one thing we're good at, it's getting things unstuck. Oh shit. That thing got a hell of a chassis.